Hey, and welcome back to the Blue Tiger Poker 10K Challenge. So again, we're playing on Bovada, playing the 100 NL tables. Tonight we got 3 of them going, and we're waiting on the blinds to come around on 2 of the tables, and we've actually already started playing on 1 of them. So hopefully going to make this into a good night. Don't have any reads on anybody yet. Like I said, just turned it on, and it's only been in just a couple minutes. It looks like there is some loose people at the table, so that's a good thing. But it appears that there are a few short stackers set on all 3 of our tables. So we're just going to have to make sure we pick our spots against those short stackers. But there are some people setting deep. Hadn't really seen how they got their money, so we're going to kind of watch them and see if they've got their money by playing good poker or if they've got some holes in their games that we can take advantage of here. So after the week before last, we had a little bit of a down week. We just got done doing the weekly update. Got that out for you guys. And so we did get all that money back and showed a little bit more profit than we had in the middle of the month. So the month of May was a good month. So happy to have June on its way. And just a new fresh start. And up here on this table, it's been check. There are 4 people. Here's a straight draw. We have, we're not going away for $1 right now. And if somebody gets a little frisky here, it's going to be interesting to see. I don't mind calling because he's deep. And if it's a non-spade, there's a good chance that we can get paid off here. So, the only hand that beats us right now is a 4-7. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. And if he shoves here, yeah, he's got a 4, but we have to call him off. And he might be doing it with 2 pair or something like that. He is taking his sweet little time, though. So we're going to see we're going to see that little crazy shove, idiot shove there at the end, but he did not. And again, the $5 bet, we're calling it just for the odds. We already had $1, then the other guy called 2, so our odds in the hand was pretty good for calling another $4 there. But he is the guy who's been at the table that I have seen so far, that he's played pretty much almost every hand since we've been on, just for the first 3 minutes. And people can get cards in those 3 minutes, but it's also unlikely that they are. And if he continues to pay a high rate of cards, then we're going to kind of keep our eye out on that. He did have the button there, and there's a little thing that you can call credit discredit. There is the last person to act. They are given less credit in the hand than they are for people who act first in the hand. So in this instance, we're acting first, so we should get more credit for a hand than somebody who's opening on the button. And so that's how you can pull those ranges in too, unless the guy is super tight. Again, I think player 1 has kind of played a few hands too, so we're just going to keep. He does have the button. Who knows? He might be trying to see if he can steal some pots. So if player 1 is a decent player, and we would continuation bet on this board, I would expect him maybe the float us a lot of the times, and this guy just dunked into us both. But he dunked in at $2, and if player 1 was not in this hand right now, I would raise this $2 bet. I would make him like 10 to 12 to go against him. So we'll see if player 1 actually does that. We can't do that bet just in case player 1 wakes up behind us, and then we're in a tough spot at that time. And see, either he has like a king, or he had Queen Jack here, and he's floating, but he has position, so he can float this flop a lot, because with the 2 clubs being there too, if a club comes on the river, if he makes this call here, it's going to be interesting to see what he does. So there's the raise. I guess we're going to have to assume he probably has more like a king-queen type of hand or king-jack. But again, we were going to do this same bet that he did, but we're going to do it on the flop. Just go ahead and get this hand over with. And the other thing is we actually had equity in this pot where if he did decide to call at $12, we hit a jack or an ace, then we probably have jack, of course, unless it's a club. We have the nut at that time, and then if the ace comes, then that's, a good... I don't think he's playing ace-king that way in that position is what I'm kind of getting at. And if he had queen-jack, then yes, he would make his straight at that time, but we would find out pretty quickly on that one. And as you see over here, this is kind of just a weird thing going on. These two guys, it was a $2 pot, and they didn't even bet when this guy hit the flush and that guy hit straight. So, again, if these guys start betting at us, it's pretty much got to say they got to have something pretty strong because they didn't even bet a flush and they didn't bet a straight. So, kind of interesting how that hand went down there. So, super timid, I guess, is what we're kind of getting at. Those two guys are. So, thing is, you're going to have to look where you're going to be at value against those guys, but you can also probably pick up some pots from them by bluffing them. But when, if you're bluffing and they do call, you're kind of not going to be making a bigger bet unless you pick up some more equity in the hand on the turn against that type of player. And this guy is, again, he's still playing a lot of pots, the number 4 guy. And this guy called. Now, our hand's not the best in the world, but when we got two guys in here, especially the guy who's 150 big blinds deep, for putting $2 more in there into a $9 pot almost, we're going to make that call and play this pot with these two guys. I think they will pay off in the bigger percentage of the time. Again, we were looking to hit kind of something in this hand to be able to continue with it. We did not, so we're just getting out of the way of that one. We're not going to try to bluff these two guys because I don't think, one, they're going to fold that often for us to make that kind of play. And as you said here, this guy actually might have... You would have to hopefully assume that the other guy had a queen. If he was doing it with a 2, then that was a pretty bad play, because unless he just was calling a bluff on the other guy. We'll check that out real quick and see how he was playing it. Yeah, he had king-queen, so, he just got outdrawn there on the turn. And we're going to have, well, I guess we're not opening up our jack 10 down there, but up here we're actually going to go ahead and raise this. This guy's been playing a lot of pots. Kind of see if we can get a heads up and get 4 out of the way. And we did. So, well, I'm not saying hopefully. If he calls, I still think we can pay post flop. But again, this guy's pretty timid after it. And that's a pretty decent flop. We got to assume it's going to hit him somewhat. But if he, if he's got a jack, he might call another card here. So another quick check. We'll just go ahead and check it back. I mean, we were hoping to get him to shut down there. If he had like a queen or something, he might have folded it out. Again, if this guy bets a while ago, this guy did not bet on when he had a flush. And so it's kind of weird that he bets here. So, you got to say, does he got ace jack or jack 9 and he finally decided he wants to bet a straight? Or is he just scared because he has like a king something other along those lines? But is he going to fold to us? No. So we don't really have a play here. These are people who are going to call down a bigger percentage of the time. So that's about all on that type of guy. But we'll get our money back from him. And, we're taking a stab. So if he was playing like pocket pairs or something like that, or like a 9-10, we can probably get him to fold those type of hands out on that type of board. But he's kind of weird. He's about limped in every pot, and if somebody's raised, he's called. So, you know, is he not raising an ace jack there? Probably, I would say. Hopefully, he's raising ace jack from that position. But you know, will he probably limp with like a jack 9 or something like that, or a queen 10? I think so. But him betting there was kind of just funny after he actually had. But people do silly things all the time. So this guy over here is. I mean, who can understand this bet? I mean, we made it 3, and he's out of position, and he just min raised this, and he just did this a hand before this too. So it's just going to be interesting to see. And this guy is making a bigger bet sizing, so we're actually going to go ahead and open this. Well, all right. Well, I wish we had a. Probably an ace in her hand, and I would call it. I'd just shove him all in there if I had an ace. I don't think I believe him enough having a king in that spot. So again, he's playing weird. That's twice he's raised out of position and min raised. So usually you can see people doing that with like aces or kings. So did he get those hands back to back? It's a possibility, but I really don't think he did. So we're just going to continue to watch him, and, when we get position on him, we're going to start pounding that a little bit. And down here, when this guy, when he's on the button and he actually makes it 350 to go, that's just a bet size that you don't want to use from a button. You want to be making it more, 3x is the biggest you want to go, but that there is not profitable in the long run. You want to make it like 2.5, 2.25, and you can even min raise the button and get it, a good percentage, especially when you got 2 tighter players after you. In that instance, you just keep min raising open, and you're picking up their blinds, and you're not risking nothing at all, hardly, to pick up their blinds. So unfortunately, our little number 3 guy up here is setting out. And I think everybody else at this table is pretty tight. So we're just going to kind of keep our eye, and we'll probably be opening a little bit more hands if that's the case, if they're playing so tight. And it's unfortunate we didn't actually try to make a play or something here at this board. It was an early open, so we're going to get out over here, even though this is the loosest guy at the table. So this is this guy's first hand, and he's posted out of position with the only thing he had to do was wait just a little bit. So we'll probably be opening this, and if player 5 decides he wants to make it $5 or 4, we're actually going to raise that up too. It's a great position to do so. We got the button, so if he does call, it's an okay spot for us. I'm not too worried. So in here, we just want to bet a little bit over half pot. Betting like $20 or something is just saying we want to kind of get you out of the way. And that's going to be a real hard board for him to even continuation on. He could have had maybe a pocket pair or something like that. Maybe like 9-10 or 8-7 suited. Those type of hands, or an ace suited type hands where he called us with. But, and he could be thinking along the lines is we're on the button and he just opened from the cutoff and tried to squeeze, and are we making a play? And the answer is yes, we were. But, if he has those other type of hands, he would have probably been better off going ahead and doing a light 4-bet if that was his read on us and everything, instead of just flatting there. So over here, it unfortunately, well, and I guess not unfortunately, unless it happens to us, we prefer, the looser people who with their money to suck out against people who are playing super solid, and he did, he cracked the kings over here, and this guy wasn't playing many hands at all, so you probably expect him to reload here. Actually, he left away, and so player 6 is kind of loose, and he's the guy who's not aggressive. But like I said before, as you've seen, he will call down his hand there. He's not going to go away. So if he hits top pair, you just know that he's calling you down the river. So, go back to that same hand. He got lucky in the end, but, if you're in the other guy's shoes, that's exactly what you want him to do. You want him to hit his top pair and be behind in the hand, and you continue to bet. And you're going to bet your draws into him pretty hard, too, because when you hit, he's still probably paying you off. It's just... it seems like it gets to the best of them sometimes, and they just make that weak call against you when it's obvious that you probably hit your hand, but they just don't want to lay their hand down at that time. Hey, look, we picked up a pair over here, but we're not going to really do much with it because the board is so draw heavy. We're actually not even going to call this guy off. It's how much money we want to invest into the hand right then. And let's just say he has a 9, doesn't want to give it up either, then our kicker comes into play. So and then we get to play an ace jack hand against him, which he's been calling our open bets pretty regular. So good board just to see bet on. Again, he still calls, and don't think he has a queen, so I think we're still live at that time. If he has like a 5 or something like that, I think he still calls. Again, we're going to vary our bet sizing. We want to still be on a little bit larger side just because they call off so light. So, we want to just have a little bit bigger pot against these guys. And then, right here, we just want to go ahead and bet again into him and see what he does. I mean, if he has a jack, he's calling for sure. If the jack comes, then that's probably going to make us very happy. Over here, we took a stab at it earlier. We didn't really run anybody off. Or did we? No, we checked on that. I'm sorry, guys. Just from the board, how many people were in there, we did check. For a second, I thought maybe I bet. So I guess I talked myself out of it. Now here, usually we're going to actually still do it, but we're going to keep the raise on the smaller side because they are going to call, and our hand's going to be against this guy. So we kind of just want this guy to get out of the way. Player 4, we want the button so we can play a little bit better against him. And not a little bad flop. I mean, unless he bets into us right here, and I'll be floored when that happens because, again, this is the guy who made the straight earlier, and he didn't do anything about it. So this guy snap called us with that kind of board. We're just going to check and see how it goes. If he has a 10, he's got the best hand now, so we're definitely going to call it off and see what happens. So I would have still probably called that bet on the river. When he bets that large that quick, it's pretty much saying that he's trying to just pick up the hand and move on, and at that time. Oh, so yeah, we're going to definitely open up our king 9, and then we'll be opening up our ace king over here for a 3-bet. So if this guy shoves right now, the hands we would have to put him on would be an ace jack, ace queen, same hand as us. Of course, probably anything 10s plus is when he would shove. So we're actually going to check. This hand actually plays into what his calling range would be. His ace jack, king jack, things of that nature, and he bets half pot. Now, our problem here is we do not have a club either. So, it's a very... The way you're going to have to play is you could play your hand by betting into him here. Here we have our time bank. and playing a hand just like you'd say, okay, no matter what, we're just going to go to river with this based on your stack size you called. We're kind of going from there. Or, when the flop comes like this. Now, if there was Jack Queen or something like that, I wouldn't care as much as about doing it there. So we're actually just going to give it up. I don't think we're going to get much more out of this. So the guy calls us off with a 3-2. Yay for him. Super job there, buddy. Thing is somebody like that who's going to be playing that way, we're definitely going to get their money. So we're just going to set back. Really wasn't worried about him having a 9 on that hand. And if he had like an ace jack or something like that, that would have been fine. Or some other type of small pocket pairs, like maybe 7s, 8s, and 10s. But, his hand, the way he played that hand was just not in a good way because he's so vulnerable. Is if he really wanted to do that kind of play, he should have did it on the flop. Because really, what kind of cards you waiting on the next? Ooh, I got another 9. Yay for me, but sorry, I was actually reading over here where this, I think they were, I don't really understand. Oh, player 4 saying he actually had a pocket pair in that situation. And thinks he made a wonderful play. So we'll see. I mean, again, he's shown not to be the best situation reader there is. He's actually thinking that he played the hand very well with like pocket 6s. So, and if he was set mining, yes, but oh well, he won the hand, so let him believe what he wants. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to call it quits on this episode of the 10K Challenge. So until next time, good luck at the tables.